Hello everyone, Risky Toothpick here, back again with some more Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot, The London Case, and we have found a secret little entrance at a little church, and now we're going to explore what's been going on down here with our fancy little candle. Similar paintings to the Penitent Magdalene, and then we totally don't go near them. Someone has quite ruthlessly taken an instrument across the painting. The back of the canvas is visible here. It looks like it was previously used to paint something that looks suspiciously like a Monet. Why were they so angry? In every way, this looks like it could be the original.
We have our third forgery. There is evidence of a much more modern painting on the back of the canvas.
Thank goodness. Don't know how I would explain finding the original in such a state.
Bishop Mountjoy must have discovered the painting that he received from Mademoiselle Court-Smythe was one of her forgeries.
And lashed out. Now it makes sense. He's been using this room to store his own private art collection. I can picture him sitting here smug as anything, surrounded by stolen paintings.
What I find most unfortunate
Is that not only does he deprive the world of beauty and joy from seeing these works, but he also keeps them in such dark and dank conditions, the old fool.
The real one might be here.
He's even having to light his candle clock to keep from drifting off down here. Such a waste, don't you think, Poirot?
One's opinions are now worth listening to.
I was only voicing my thoughts.
You have thoughts beside those of Mademoiselle Farquhar?
Really, Poirot? You still think so little of me?
When one exclaims such regard for a suspect in a murder investigation, it is hard not to think any other way and comment so.
You may not be so accustomed to the idea of showing, or at least having, some form of empathy for our fellow man.
There is a difference between empathy and lust.
That's right, you tell him.
And there is a difference between commenting and being rude and obnoxious.
I was not expecting Monsieur Hastings to be so sensitive on the matter. Perhaps this conversation is best saved for when we are not trapped together.
Yeah, he might try to kill you.
What was that? Oh, just the bishop's candle clock. I don't know about you, but I've had enough of this place. Let's get out of here. What are you doing, Poirot?
Oh, that little pin might be the big thing, the big missing piece.
S'il vous plaît, un moment.
The bishop's candle clock has forced me to question everything of the murder scene that I previously thought I knew.
We must return to Mademoiselle Court-Smythe's apartment.
Perhaps that is a job best left for you, by yourself.
Damn, you've been following us this whole time and now you want to be by yourself? Or now you want to leave us alone? The bishop's candle and nail alarm clock has me reconsidering the evidence at the fireplace. I must re-examine it. Yep, that necklace we saw. I think it had like a little pin as well. The necklace with the pin through it, I'll take it. Perhaps I can conduct a little experiment and recreate what really happened here. The sibling of the missing candle, I believe it to have survived due to its distance from the scorch marks, but now I am not so sure. Something about the candles melting now feels odd to me. With Bishop Mountjoy's candle alarm clock in mind, I must conduct a small experiment. Do we have anything here? Okay, we need to find a candle. Oh, the body's, been removed. That's nice. Does she even have, like, candles? I'm assuming that's what we need is the candles. Let's go to the console table. Oh, there's candles down below. Survivors of the fire, some brand new candles remain intact. I'll take one. This bottle is empty but smells strongly of turpentine. Only half the crate remains. Irene must be a great fan. Only half the crate remains. Yep. So now with this candle, we come over here. We use the candle.
Oh.
There would have been a candle here before the heat of the fire melted it. We would then match it. Oh, nope. We have to use the necklace first, apparently. Just like the nail in the bishop's candle alarm clock, this pin could have been pushed into the candle like so. The necklace could have been wrapped around the candle something like this. As the wax melted and the pin fell, the necklace could have poured over the side, the weight eventually toppling the candle. Time to put this theory to the test. Let's burn it.
Et maintenant?
Oh.
I believe myself to be the greatest detective in the most prestigious police force in the world.
And that's how the fire was started.
But I have been duped and swindled, falling directly into the trap laid by the killer. And now I stand here alone, contemplating what is to come next. Monsieur Hastings was quick to make his excuses to retire to his abode and not return to the scene of the crime by my side. I hope there is not something further that troubles him. One does not need added strains at a time when steps must be retraced and a new timeline considered. Sacré! I have spent my time staring into the sun when deceit and deception has taken place in the shadows.
That's right.
A murderer remains free. But the truth of the fire eludes Detective Hercule Poirot no more, and soon neither will their identity.
Now, are they trying to blame the bishop? Chapter 8. The investigation starts anew. Alrighty, and now we're all alone here.
I cannot believe I allowed myself to fall for such a deceptive move. The killer knew I would ask for an alibi, and they knew how to cover their tracks perfectly. Now, though, I have the upper hand. The killer believes that I have extinguished all avenues of my questioning, unaware I know the truth of the fire. I wish Monsieur Hastings were here. I was perhaps too harsh with him. I know of his want for the same as I, the truth. But now I fear that I have lost him to my own tenacious demeanor.
Well, you never know. He might be involved in some weird way.
Now more than ever do I need my little grey cells working at full capacity. Monsieur Demire and Mademoiselle Babagna. I am glad to say that they both still have alibis, as the show had just reached its second act. I can be sure that neither was involved.
Interesting.
Mademoiselle Farquhar. She claims that she was in the dark room developing pictures, and even with this new discovery, her alibi stands. Monsieur Dryden can confirm. Monsieur Christiansen, one of my key suspects, drinking alone except for a brief encounter with Monsieur Demire. But Madame Allen can substantiate his trip to see her at the theater to apologize during the intermission. Which leads us to the good Madame Allen, on stage performing. Innocent. A side note, I must make an effort to see her production. From what I have heard, she sounds quite captivating. The Honorable Bishop Mountjoy. His Compline prayers had not yet begun, but Mademoiselle Warbeck and he were together in what I can only imagine to be an uncomfortable meeting for them both. Her innocence has already been confirmed, although upon learning of how she has been treated, I would not have been surprised. Last but certainly not least, Monsieur Aylesworth, and the article in the newspaper documenting his, as some see, heroic speech amongst the House of Commons is alibi enough for the murder. And where are we left now? Every suspect seemingly as innocent as they were yesterday. But when one looks most innocent, that is when Detective Poirot is most suspicious.
That's right. So it's time to figure out who did it. Talk to Zachariah. I'm guessing he's probably sitting somewhere over here at the table. Because he's like the one guy who doesn't have his own like little place here.
Finally, a face I can trust.
Everything all right, Poirot?
I'm afraid things could not be further from all right.
Don't tell me the famous Detective Poirot is stumped.
Stumped? No. Perplexed? Oui. Perhaps you can be my perfect distraction.
What's that you're reading?
I may not be the celebrated doctor that my father hoped for, but I still like to keep up with recent medical journals.
And what is the latest discovery?
Cocaine is an alkaloid extract from the leaf of the Erythroxylon cocoa plant, which usually grows in South America. Now this is interesting because we saw cocaine early on in the game. We never really understood whose cocaine it was, but I guess maybe we're going to find out now. Its most available common form being hydrochloride salt, which can be taken orally, intransally, and intravenously. The peak effect ranges from 1 to 90 minutes depending on the route of administration. Cardiovascular effect of cocaine use. The most common symptom in cocaine users is chest pain, and the most common cardiac disorder is ischemia and acute coronary syndrome, which can occur with all routes of cocaine intake. The politician. Other cardiac problems include myocarditis, cardiomyopathy, and arrhythmias. Cocaine increases heart rate, blood pressure, and myocardial contractility, all of which increases myocardial oxygen demand, which increases availability. The number of cocaine users continues to escalate, with many finding what can be considered positive effects of the drug outweighing the potential and likely hazardous risks.
This particular article is about the effect of cocaine on the user's body. I thought I liked to have a good time, but that drug, too much for me.
But somebody had some heart problems.
What makes you say that?
I wouldn't want my heart beating at the speed of a locomotive. Here, read for yourself.
Have you seen Monsieur Aylesworth since his heart attack?
I haven't actually. I gave him my office telephone number and said he could call anytime, but not a peep.
You sound surprised.
He probably wants to keep his health issues out of the public eye. Hence me offering to help, but he seems to be just fine, surprisingly.
You question Monsieur Aylesworth's health?
Do you think there is a chance he could have faked it all? How those little gray cells of yours work sometimes. Amazing.
Please, my friend.
You're serious? Don't know why, but I suppose he could have.
At this point, anything is a possibility. I think a visit to Monsieur Aylesworth at the Royal Society of Art is in order. Mademoiselle Babagna, a pleasure as always.
Oh, the girl showed up.
Good morning, gentlemen.
I'm afraid my pleasantries are to be cut short this morning. I have a most pressing matter.
Alrighty, so now it's time for us to finally confront the mayor, or not the mayor, but the politician guy, who wants to help, or who does a lot of charity work, but maybe on the other side he's a cocaine user who has financial difficulties. Who knows? But we're gonna find out.
Just a moment. I'm coming.
What a great commotion coming from behind the door. What on earth is Monsieur Aylesworth up to?
Well, he's high off his mind off of cocaine.
Ah, detective. What can I do for you?
Could you spare a moment of your time? If you are feeling up to it?
Why wouldn't I?
You are recovering from a potentially fatal heart attack. I would not want to aggravate or upset you in any way.
Your movements on the night of Mademoiselle Courtsmite's death.
Are we really going over this again?
It would help me clear up some discrepancies.
Very well. As I've said before, I was in the House of Commons addressing the bench, as you know. And then I was speaking with the reporter.
The editor, Nathaniel Dryden.
If you say so, at the news office.
Monsieur Aylesworth is sticking to his story. I did not expect that it would be easy to unsettle a politician of his experience.
That's right, get him. You have not contacted Monsieur Demir?
And why would I? And why would I? Oh, to thank him for his help at the museum. Yes, of course. I've been meaning to send him a thank you gift.
One would think that thanking the man that saved your life would be further up your priorities.
I'm a very busy man, as I'm sure you understand. And I don't know whether I'd go as far as saying he saved my life.
On the contrary, had Monsieur Demir not been there with his extensive medical training and a man of your age, perhaps you would not be here talking with me today.
If Monsieur Aylesworth is not prepared to tell the truth, perhaps I can use his own pompous nature and guilt against him.
The nurse said herself that I had the heart of a young athlete. It'll take more than that to slow me down.
Well, I would not take that as a sign to start a sporting career. Merci, monsieur.
I find myself in a most problematic position. My associate, Monsieur Hastings, is nowhere to be found when I need him the most. There must be someone else that I can call upon. Someone to fill the shoes of Monsieur Hastings. For the time being, at least.
And who could that be?
The obvious choice would be Monsieur Demir. But I wonder if he is suited to the task that is required.
Alright, well, let's go talk to Demir and see if he can assist us here. He probably is not, but the girl, the Russian, and what is her name, like Anastasia? She can probably help us.
Whatever you need.
I must get back to my...
So he has nothing to say.
Good morning, mademoiselle. My apologies for my earlier departure.
That's quite all right. Mr. Demir informed me of the facts.
The case has taken a direction I had not foreseen, and it now leaves me...
I will not stand here and listen to you wallow. How can I help?
Yep, Anastasia's gonna help us out. I have a rather unusual request.
Go on.
I require a distraction. I promise you will come to no harm and...
Who am I to distract and from what?
Monsieur Aylesworth, I need to gain access to his office without his watchful eye.
Detective Poirot? Preparing to cross the line of law?
Not cross, merely tiptoe alongside.
That's right, it's not crossing if you're tiptoeing.
I assume you have already devised a plan?
A requested tour of the Royal Society of Art building should give me appropriate time.
Then that is what I shall do.
Alrighty. Let's sneak around and find the
The
secrets.
door has been left ajar, exactly as required. I could hear Monsieur Aylesworth fumbling around behind his door on my last visit, and combined with his hesitation to open his door to me, I can presume he had something he did not want Detective Poirot to see.
Alrighty, time for us to find out what he's hiding. Speaking with Monsieur Demir, my suspicion has only increased. Could Monsieur Aylesworth have faked his heart attack? I must speak to him. Yeah, well, we're not going to speak to him because we're trying to investigate his room here. Alrighty, so he's got a safe. So he has a chess set. A beautiful chess set, although the queen is missing. Which is kind of weird. Oh, he has a gun. Oof. One step closer to revealing the truth.
Oh.
One must be careful with firearms around, especially when left in an unlocked drawer.
Huh.
The missing queen, such an important and integral part of one's force, should not be so carelessly discarded. Alright. Where? Oh, for a minute there I was like, who's that? Interesting.
Huh.
A spoon, likely from a set ICS, is engraved. Okay, well, let's put the queen back where it belongs. Never mind, not yet. And we already have a connection here. Queen chess piece on floor with chess set.
Things are beginning to become clearer.
A fallen queen almost as disastrous as a fallen king. Chess set was knocked over.
Magnifique.
How clumsy of him. Monsieur Ellsworth knocked the chess set over on his way to answer the door. So he, like, ran over. A collection of different texts. He is certainly well read.
Huh.
One would usually find such furniture is filled with a variety of alcohol. Now we've actually already looked at that one. What has he got going on over here, though? Actually, there's something. Okay, so we have a globe and we have a bookshelf. Glass rattling sound.
Voila.
Monsieur Ellsworth moved the globe, causing the bottles inside to rattle. So globe moved.
I must take a different
Not
approach.
that one.
Is there something? Come, my
No.
little Grace Ann.
I know it's that one. What is it? Chess set was knocked over while the globe was moved.
The answer was staring me in the face.
It definitely was. It's possible Monsieur Ellsworth was up to something by the bookshelf. Okay. So now we can go to the bookshelf again, probably. Oh, here we go. Groove on the floor. There's a man-made groove on the floor where the globe was positioned. So now we move the bookshelf over. When I return home, I shall check every bookshelf and crevice of the house. It appears almost mandatory to have a hidden room. What this one would hold, I can only imagine. The wicked and banal smell of English tea.
Put your hands up and step away from there.
Monsieur, there is no need.
Enough of your phony pleasantries. Let's see what the real police have to say.
The first thing they would notice is the politician aiming his revolver at an officer while they are conducting official police business.
I'm sure they would agree. I have every right to protect myself from a foreign intruder.
If you were to lower the gun, perhaps we could discuss the situation we find ourselves in.
You may have authority in your own country, but not here. Now, explain yourself.
It appears I must choose my words carefully here. What is your plan now? You have an officer of the law, a visitor to your country, held at gunpoint in your office. Oh yeah, let's do something like that. Let's kind of go after his position.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Is that true? Why am I here? There are no victims to your crime. You still have the chance to end it here. Let's try to, like, work him out of it.
Enough! I need a second to think about all this. How has it all come to this? No, it's not my fault. It's...
It is not too late. Your intentions were good. Scotland Yard will look sympathetically at...
If you had just left that fool Hardwick to it, we wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have to do this.
I have done nothing but remain honorable to my oath to uphold the law. It is Monsieur's choices and actions that have brought us to this point, and he must accept responsibility for what is to come.
Damn, I guess we failed.
Poirot, are you all right?
Oh, it's not us. Oh, Hastings showed up.
All the better for seeing you, Hastings.
I was worried I was going to miss him.
Your timing and accuracy could not have been more perfect.
What do we do now?
We take our leave.
And what about him? Will he be okay?
He shall be fine.
Yeah, let's get the hell
Although
out
I
of
am
here.
not envious of the sore head he will awake to. Come, there is much to tell.
Behind the bookshelf. But I never.
Yeah, that was dangerous.
Monsieur Dryden, how are you?
Detective...
Poirot.
Yes, of course. What can I do for you?
Is Mademoiselle Farquhar working today?
She is, but not here, I'm afraid.
Do you know where she is?
She said something about heading back to the museum.
Would you allow us access into your dark room?
For what, exactly?
Forgive me. I recently inherited a number of belongings from a deceased relative, including an undeveloped spool of film.
I'd like to help, but there isn't anyone here that could develop them for you.
I am more than capable, and I'll leave it tidier than when we arrived.
Hastings getting the job done.
In that case, knock yourselves out. I've got a meeting to run to anyway. I shouldn't be longer than half an hour or so.
Pardon. Where has this confident and daring version of Monsieur Hastings been hidden?
We all have a hidden side. It's just our own choice of when to show it.
Alrighty, let's see what we can uncover.
So, our first step is...
Don't tell me there is something the great Detective Poirot doesn't know.
I must concede that photography is something I have little experience in.
Lucky I'm here, then. We need to start with a tray filled with developing fluid. Next, pour the fixer fluid into another tray and then add the photographic paper.
I have a newfound respect for those that make such activities look so simple.
Let's just wait until we see the results. It shouldn't take long.
I shall use my time wisely and see what truths this room may hold. Alrighty. Let's go look at the trays. A tray for liquid relating to the development process. A hat, which is kind of weird.
Huh.
Mademoiselle Farquhar has a hat that looks almost identical to the one Mademoiselle Court Smythe wore to the gala. I knew I had seen that style of hat somewhere before. Let me look at this too. Oh, we already have one. Groove on the floor.
Something just doesn't...
There we go. Just get that one kind of, you know, taken care of. Photographic developer. Essential in the development of photographs. Used specifically in the development of photographs. Alrighty. There's a radio.
Oh.
Music can make even the most laborious tasks more manageable.
Oh.
The window is painted shut. Okay, I think we're pretty much good here. We gotta put some things in the tray. Actually forgot. I think we gotta put the developer in first. Yeah, that's right. We got that going. And then we, I guess, interact with it. A tray for liquid related to development process. Yep. See what's over here. No label infuriating. I will never understand how people can work in such amateur fashions. Missing one thing, though. Dalton Farms Belfast. There we go. How is one to know what is inside if it doesn't have the appropriate information? The answer was staring me in the face. It's kind of crazy. I believe this is for producing photographic prints. Okay, let's use it. I believe this is for producing photographic prints. Perhaps this photographic paper is what is required. One step closer to revealing the truth. Okay. So we're good there. Question is, what are we doing now? Nothing that we can do there. Let's talk to Hastings here. Maybe he's got something he can say.
Have you found it yet? You want the photographic fixer?
And how would one know it from another?
It smells like ammonia. Handy, I suppose, when you can't see much in here.
Okay, so the ammonia one. Bitter almonds, distinct smell potassium cyanide. Why is the poison in here? Ammonia, just as Monsieur Hastings said. Mademoiselle Farquhar had access to the same poison that killed Mademoiselle Court Smith. One does not believe in coincidences. Oh. Alrighty, but it's been 30-minute mark. We're going to stop here. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links below. And we might have just gotten the first clue on who the killer might be.